Can you share my screen?
Oh, it should say share screen on yours too, no?
Yes, hang on.
Wait, all right. I want to introduce you though, so Kristine had the opportunity to go to this 4 vital behaviors training with one of my favorite people from corporate, Kim Carver. I've seen him. I actually went to the same training last year, but it was called the 3 vital behaviors, so we only had 3 then. So I'm interested to see what's come since then. But he is such a good guy. Did he tell you the story about the race?
No.
Oh crap. Okay. Or with his daughter, his marathon thing.
No. He told us the story. He ended the story off about his baseball career. His baseball. Did he talk about that one?
No. He has a really good story about the marathon. He ran a marathon for his 2 kids have a rare childhood like disease type thing. I don't know what it is. I forget what it's called, but he just tells this great story. So long story short, he ended up running this marathon to raise money for it because he and his wife wanted to have another baby. This happened to 2 of their kids, and they wanted to have another one, but they wanted to make sure they did it right. The only, because it was in their genes or whatever, so they had to raise money to have another baby, like a lot of money. So he decided he was going to run a marathon. He's like, yeah, and he didn't really train or anything like that. He like showed up to this marathon. He was in like, he said everybody's in their gear. He had like tattered Nikes on and like sweatpants, and it was like a marathon in like the middle of like, someplace where there weren't many people in the marathon. Okay, there was like 30 people, so there was a pack in front of him, the runners, and there was like old people behind him, and then just him in the middle. He ends up, one of the signs blew over to like take a turn, and he went the wrong way for like a good 6 miles or something.
Oh, God.
He figured it out, and then he had to turn around and run back the 6 miles and then go back. But he still did it. Like he made it to the end. And one day I hope that you guys get to hear this story from him because it's absolutely amazing. And it's just like, I'm like, this is why I love this company, because people like you here. But so Kristine had the opportunity to go hear from him and learn some stuff, which I'm excited that she did. And so I'm just going to let you take it away. Let's put everybody on mute. Hold on. I don't know if I'm okay. Yeah, I'm gonna put everybody on mute, and so guys, just unmute yourselves if you have a question or type in the comments. Okay, and Kristine, it's all you, girl.
Yay.
Oh wait, I'm gonna have to unmute you though, or you unmute yourself.
Okay.
Oh wait, it didn't mute me though.
There. Is that better? You guys can hear me? Thumbs up. Okay. So as Jamie said, so I went to the 4 vital behaviors training, and it was actually a fluke thing that came up of one of the Facebook groups I'm on in Calgary is local Beachbody coaches, and they called themselves the Calgary Beachbody Market Council, which sounds to me like a bit of a mafia, but whatever. And so they had this thing of we're training, and they host usually the Super Saturdays here in Calgary, and they always have really good guests. Like they've had Shay Sanford come up, but they've had Scotty Hobbs and a couple other ones. So when this came up, I was like, well, you know what? I'm trying to revitalize my business a little bit, so I might as well go back to basics. And thank goodness this is an opportunity for me to go, so might as well go. So they had going over the 4 vital behaviors. So just in case it's a refresher, here's they are. It's invite, invite, invite. Be proof the product works, do personal development, and the 4th one, which is recognize, recognize, recognize. So I'm not going to go through these in order, but I will say, which is exactly what Kim said, was about 70% of the seminar was about inviting. And it actually, like a little light bulb went off in my head as I went through it, as going through the training, because what seems so scary is actually really simple. So here I go. So he started off the seminar with the story from Alice in Wonderland and the Cheshire Cat. So there's a part where Alice comes up to the Cheshire Cat and she says, well, to the Cheshire Cat, which road should I take? And he's like, well, where do you want to go? And she said, I don't know. Well, then the cat says, well, it doesn't really matter. So if you take that in perspective with our Beachbody business, what do we want and where do we want to go? If we don't know, then we're not going to go anywhere, and it doesn't really matter what we do with our business. But if we know where we want to go, then it's going to make a hell of a lot of difference between the people that we help and for ourselves as well. So I'm going to start with be the proof the product works. I think this one's pretty simple when it comes to our business. We are our own best advertisements for our business and the products that we endorse. So if you were to go to let's say you go to like an appliance store, let's say, and you were to you were to get something from the salesman there. The salesman is going to sell you something that he believes in, but they could also be a really shady salesman too that is just wanting to know, like, they're just going to want to sell to get a commission, so to speak. So the nice thing about us is that we sell products that we're passionate about, and we sell products that we are proof that it works. And it's not even selling really. It's more just putting the passion behind the things that we love. And we're giving people the opportunity to share it with us. So videos and pictures don't mean much unless we have passion behind it. It's one thing to throw up a Shakeology picture with you drinking it and be like, hey, I'm drinking my Shakeology today. But it's different if you'd be like, I love Shakeology, and this is why I love it, because this is what it's done for me and my body. And then there's also, it's not just physical transformations with Beachbody, but our health transformations, our financial transformations, non-scale victories. It seems like a lot of, in the last couple of weeks, I would say, people have been hesitant about joining Beachbody because they feel like they have to have the Beachbody. They feel like they have to have a success story first, and that's not the case. People can have a transformation that's, they're like, look at Erin's post that she did today of where it was a health transformation versus a body transformation or things like that. So it's like kind of incorporating and embracing everything as transformations that relate to Beachbody. So when it comes to finances, like I kind of threw a little dig in there about how having some extra money per month to help pay for groceries and help pay bills and stuff is more than what I would have had, say, 6 months ago. So yeah. Recognize. So I told Jamie that she would have had a pretty proud Beachbody moment. They made us get into groups, and they said, as coaches of what we do, because everyone in the room was a new coach, either a baby coach or like someone had been around the business for a while, and they wanted to talk about how they like being recognized and what they do to recognize their challengers. So we got into groups, and I mentioned to our group about how Jamie, every Thursday, she does the badass of the week, and how, I don't know about you guys, but honestly, I look forward to seeing who's the badass of the week and why they are the badass of the week. So the one person from the group had to stand up and talk to everybody about why, what the best practices were. And I got up in front of everybody, and that's probably about 70 to 80 people or more, and be like, well, my coach and our team does this, and this is what we all look forward to. And it's, it's not about who's got the most success points. It's not about who's doing whatever. It's about people who are going outside the norm and being badasses. And you would not believe oh, that's such a good idea. Oh, well, I think I'll try that, and things like that. So kudos to Jamie for doing that. And, definitely, I think as a team, I love being recognized for the things like that. So when you think about being recognized, how does it make you feel? And put that in perspective with your challengers and your coach or with your challengers or as a person. If one of your friends has done something pretty awesome, why not recognize them and make them feel special? That doesn't have to be Beachbody related. It can be anything related, really. A challenger, a coach, something that will inspire them to keep them on their journey. Make them feel as though they're doing something right and to keep going. It's when you have us as coaches, we're cheerleaders. We help people and get them motivated and support them along their journeys. We're not in there just to make a buck. We're in there to change their lives. So part of that is to actually cheer them on and tell them they're doing a good job. And when people see that we're doing that and recognizing them, they're going to want to say, wait a second, what is it? What does she have that's keeping her going? What's that inspiration? What's that fire? What's keeping the motor running? And we, I guess you could say, are kind of pushing there in that direction. So recognize. As I mentioned before, the TeamBStrong Badass of the Week. So, how do you guys feel about being recognized or not recognized? Does it make you be not recognized? Does it make you want to do more and, be up on the board and, you know, be tagged in the photo or things like that to know that you're doing something right? Or does it make you want to give up, or, you know what I mean? Like how do you guys feel about that kind of stuff? And put that in perspective with your challengers and with your coaches and with the people who your customers of who you're trying to help. So now we're getting into inviting. A lot of the stuff he covered, I think, is Jamie's done a really good job is adding to our network. But one of the things he mentioned was creating a healthy network. So a healthy network, if a coaching within a coach's first 90 days with consistent engagement and a healthy network should produce at least 2 new challengers a month, 1 new coach a month, and 90 to 100 new people exposed to your brand messages and invites. That should increase as a coach as you continue to expand the network. So if you should always be looking to add more people, and it's not just, okay, there's my friend and that's the only friend I'm sticking to, but suddenly there's 2 of their mutual friends and their mutual friends are looking at your friend. So why not friend those 2 mutual friends? Does that make sense? It's kind of a no-brainer, like I said, but it's, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? They're going to say no. So you got to know. And what's the best thing that's going to happen is you're going to change their life. So why not take the risk? But going back to the healthy network, he talked about be consistent in growing your network, proactively add 3 to 5 people per day. Sometimes it's just going through the people you may know and friending and stuff. I always go through that and be like, well, if Jamie's a friend or if Sandy's a friend or Allison's a friend, I'm not going to touch them just because pretty sure you probably reached out to them already as coaches. So they don't need me to kind of whatever. But I will go back through some old high school friends. I will go back to adding people who have no ties to me or no mutual friends whatsoever. So, I give them a click to add as a friend. If they want to add as a friend, that's great. If they don't, then that's okay too. The one thing he did say though is like, if you keep sending invites out and no one has responded, go back and cancel those invites, because then you're going to go to Facebook jail. So he also talked about creating an ideal customer avatar. I'm not sure if we've ever touched on this or not, but the avatar is who you want to target as a coach. Who are your people that you want to be in as a challenger, as a coach on your team? You can have the people that are customers, and this kind of ties into the last part too, where not everyone is meant to be a customer or a coach. And I'll say this. I currently have a customer that really, really wants to do good things and really, really wants to, get healthy and stuff, but she has an excuse for everything. She has an excuse of where, I can't do this because it doesn't fit into my time frame, or I can't do this because blah, blah, blah. That person I'm not going to go after as a coach. If I were to add her as a coach, and she is interested in being a coach, but if I were to add her as a coach, she'd probably be a lot more work than I need to be on my team. And B, it's not something I think she would see as sustainable. She's not going to be a long-term coach like us. So just, you know what I mean? Like it's going to be, I could sign her up as a coach, as a discount coach, but she's not even drinking Shakeology. So why would I bother? So sometimes, we want to help people, and yes, we want to have customers, but at the same time, taking them to that next level as a coach, you have to add the value and worth to your team, your future team. So, I thought that kind of hit home, because maybe sometimes we have our blinders on of, okay, challenger, make him into coach, and then we have team bonus cycles. Well, no, is that person going to be able to add extra value, add extra worth to your team in the long run? So think about that. Invite. Taking care of your network, add daily value. So again, I think we've heard this probably many, many times, and Jamie's always really good for creating ideas and talking about the group. But things like fitness tips and recipes, cleaning ideas, running free groups, answer questions to motivate, be active and present with them. And he said, be active and present with them. So he said, if you're at your job, be present at your job. Like I have a full-time job. Sometimes on my lunch, that's my lunch hour where I do kind of a bit of a power hour. But throughout the day, I will not be trying to message challengers or anything like that, because I have to be present in my job. I have to be present in my family life for my family to understand of where I want to go. this right now is I'm being present with you guys because this is something I want to do. I'm not, my kids are playing downstairs. My husband's looking after them. I'm here and present with you. And that's what we have to do with our challengers. We can't be grocery shopping and get a message from a challenger way and like, hey, I just ate a cake and I don't know what to do. You know, you could honestly say, you know, give me 10 minutes. Let me go in my car and I'm going to be 100% present with you. And we can talk about what happened and see what we need to do to help you. Does that make sense for everybody? Okay. So I wish there was a little bit more people on here, but this was something that I think was the game changer for me. So if I could get Sandy and Allison to unmute yourselves.
Blah, blah, blah.
Okay. So Sandy, I don't think you have an issue with inviting, but maybe you want some extra help. This kind of helped me make it clear. Same with you, Allison. So Allison, I want you to start a conversation with Sandy about her favorite food. And in that conversation, I want you to find out what her favorite food is and her favorite cuisine, and then recommend a restaurant that has that cuisine, and then make dinner plans to go there. Go.
Hey, Sandy, it's been a long time.
Hey, what's going on?
You know, not much. Same old, same old. God, it's been a long time since we went out and hung out together.
Yeah, we really need to hang.
You know, how about we do dinner sometime? You want to get together and go somewhere after dinner? And after work for dinner? Okay, I don't like this.
This is the point of role play, of where if you start a conversation with somebody about their favorite food, about something that's common, right? Then you'll be able to invite. So the next one is about start a conversation about healthy living. So start a conversation of find out what their common exercise is. Take the food part out of the conversation and insert healthy living. When you talk to your friend and be like, hey man, like, you know, where's your favorite restaurant? I understand that you like Thai food. What's the favorite Thai food where's a really good place to go? They'll tell you, oh, that's awesome. You know what? I've heard a really good place. You know, maybe if you want to hook up there one night, it'd be really good to go to, or something like that. Like, you have to kind of take the fear out of inviting and keep it simple. Like you're just talking to a friend. Keep it so that you're starting, you know, and now, like I said, take the food part of it and talk about healthy living, talk about Beachbody, find out what their favorite exercise is, and recommend a program that Beachbody has that has their favorite exercise in it, and then invite them to your challenge group. So you could have a conversation with, be like, hey Sandy, so, you know, I see your posts, you're doing a lot of healthy living. What's one of your, you're doing awesome. And Sandy will say,
Hey, thanks.
no problem. You know what? I see that you like yoga. Do you, I love yoga as well.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? There's actually a program that Beachbody has called PIO, which is a mixture of Pilates and yoga. Do you think that'd be something that might be up your alley that you could try?
I don't know. Maybe. Tell me more about it.
Well, Shalene Johnson, blah, 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 blah. And I actually have a 30-day challenge group that's coming up, and I would love for you to join the group, and you can pick PIO as your program and maybe give it a shot and see how you like it.
Well, what's a challenge group?
Well, and I hope you can take the conversation from there. I see Jamie's kind of going either this is good or this is bad. So I think the more that we actually role play in the group and actually put ourselves in situations with conversations takes the fear a lot out of the inviting. I actually, in the group that we had, there was strangers. It was pretty much strangers that didn't know anybody that were put together. And when you have the conversation about trying to find, you're sitting next to someone and they're like, hey, have a conversation about food. Okay, well, how am I supposed to talk to you about food? Well, food's something everybody eats, everyone likes. So why not find out more about them and what they like for food? Like I said, take the food out of the conversation, add in healthy living and a healthy lifestyle. I see you have a healthy lifestyle. That's great. What are some of your favorite exercises? Oh, I like what? Really? That's great. You know, that's awesome. I have that's one of my favorite exercises too. I've been really getting really good results for the 21-day fix. It's pretty well rounded and over full body. And if they say, oh, I've never heard of that, well, give them a little bit of information and invite them to your challenge group. You have the invite, you gave them the information, and it's casual. So yeah. So as a part of inviting, engage in conversation that attracted people around, I've probably got cut off, the benefit of A, losing weight, B, getting fit, C, getting healthy, and D, creating greater financial dependence. So that's how you attract who you want to be your challenger. You know, if you see someone that's like, hey man, I just had enjoyed the best McDonald's of my life and it was so awesome, probably not the person you want to invite to your challenge group to get them healthy, because they're not ready to get healthy. But if you see the person that's like, oh, I had a salad today and I felt really good, and you know, can't wait to start this, can't wait to go on my vacation and start eating healthy or whatever, that's who you want to see. That's who you want to try and attract. Connect and find out what their goals are about one of these 4 points. So I'll bookmark there. Invite, a personal invitation to make the decision and offer to help. And D, follow up, overcoming concerns, building trust, and re-inviting. So inviting is connecting in a way, I can't even read this, hang on. Inviting is connecting in such a way that you find out what the other person wants and then help them make the decision to go after it. Oops, no, that's what I want. Oops, that's not what I want. Oops. Okay, so this is the Love That Body Booty Challenge. Can you go shut the door, please, Maya? Thank you. Sorry. Pause, please. Good night. I love you. Have a good sleep. Can you shut the door, please, Caleb? Thank you. Sorry, guys.
Oh, good.
So the Love That Booty Body and Love That Body and Booty Challenge, that there is not an invite. It's an advertisement for your challenge group. It's not an invitation. The one that says, hey, Shelly, I saw your post, so glad that you're doing better, blah, blah, blah. That is a personal invitation. So when we say 2 to 3 invites per day, it's the hey, Shelly one that you want. Hang on one second. Honey, can you close the door, please? Two seconds. Sorry about that. Okay. So we talked a little bit about follow-up, and I was telling Jamie this today, that follow-up is key. So if you take a look at these stats, just take a look at them. Look at the very bottom line. Do you know how, like, out of all the people, I was telling Jamie today. So today or the other day, I sent an invitation out to a girl that I met through a couple of the shows that I've done. And when I first met her, I threw an invitation out there to her. Hey, I have a group finally, would you be something interested? Blah, blah, blah. Crickets. No response, no nothing. And then probably about 2 months go by, and saw her at the show. She wanted to try Shakeology, so I gave her a sample. And weekend goes by, it's finished up, and that's about it. And I went to go follow up with her to see how she liked the Shakeology, and then I saw that I already had emailed her. Now, the old me would have been like, oh, she's already got an invitation, she's not interested, don't want to do anything there. And then I was like, you know what? Screw it. So I sent her an invitation saying, hey, I see I've already hypothetically bothered you already about this stuff. I just want to see how you like Shakeology and this and that. And she goes, oh, I really did like it. And that's where the conversation started to go. And I've actually planted the seed about getting a challenge packet, getting her signed up. So if it wasn't for that follow-up, I would have not known that was a lead there. And even if she says no, that just means no for not right now. But it's of all the people that you've reached out to once, go back to those people again and say, hey, just want to see if it will be something, just want to follow up and make a follow-up pretty much. So personal development. You are your most worthwhile investment. As you continue to grow, your ceiling increases. You're never going to be to the point where you're like, I'm at my max and I'm the know-all be-all of everything. That's my son right now. So you have to help, do your personal development. And the areas of personal development growth are self-mastery, interpersonal skills, leadership skills, business skills. Not always in books. Podcasts are a great source. I will swear by this episode. Lewis Howes, episode number 36, The School of Greatness. It's from October 2013, and it's the guest of Kristine. Like, I cannot put into words. I've listened to that podcast, and it was like life-changing. And the reason it was life-changing was because I was at a point where I had lost the mojo. I had just, figuring out what did I want to do? Was it really worth going on? Kind of on the fence a little bit about Beachbody. And you could hear the negativity, I guess you could say, of it wasn't, it's not Jamie in my ear going, don't do it. It was more of, just I need to see for myself. And he talks a lot about visualization. He actually goes through a self-guided meditation in the episode. It was honestly like he was speaking directly to the emotions that I was feeling. And it was like, holy crap, this is amazing. So I can't even put into words about how he talks about the things like when you have to identify when you're in, he calls it meltdown. So when you're in a meltdown of where your anxiety's gotten the best of you, your anger's gotten the best of you, everything's just shit out the window and you're just having a breakdown almost. You have to be able to learn, identify it, move forward, and how you move forward to clear your head so you can actually get on with your life. And it was just 3-4 simple steps that he talked about. And it's kind of, now that you're aware of them, you want to make sure that you prevent them from happening. Like today, I was kind of like anxiety levels going all over the place and a lot of just like, I wish I had this and, and suddenly it was like, wait a second, you're in a meltdown. So you have to be able to attract positivity, attract grateful, be grateful for what you have rather than just focusing on the negative, because if you focus on the negative, we all know it comes back to you 10 times over. So Kim also recommended in the conference seminar a book called Jab, Jab, Right Hook. And this is basically of you keep jabbing at the customer to, plant little seeds, this and here in the conversations. And then when they're ready, you give them a right hook. And that's when you give them the challenge pack. That's when you give them yourself. So it's jab, jab, right hook. Try it. And then the last slide, I think it's, last slide. So he talked about personal development and he said, okay, this $5 iron bar it's $5. It doesn't really have much use. But over time, if you were to take that same iron and make a pair of horseshoes out of it, it would be about $50. So, you've made a little bit of something, but you haven't invested too much in yourself. You just becoming a pair of horseshoes. But if you invest a little bit more time and effort, you can become these surgical needles that are worth about $5,000. And these surgical needles are quite expensive and, but still come from the same iron bar. But if you really want to invest more time and more effort, maybe a little longer, you would become this, it's called a balance cog or something like that for a high quality watch. And this piece here is $500,000. So going from a $5 iron bar to a $500,000 piece of crucial equipment for a watch to make things tick. It's all investment. It's all time. It's all what we could be doing. It's where we could be. So let's not stay $5 iron. Let's not stay as $5 iron bars. Let's become the $500,000 cogs. And that's my presentation. So I appreciate your time and effort, and I know we're going to be recording this. It's probably going to be silly to look at me afterwards, but I'm really glad and thankful that I went. I can honestly tell you, since going to that seminar, and I think just gaining the confidence with inviting, in the last week, I've talked to strangers, given my business card, said, hey, maybe give this a shot, striking up conversations that I probably would never be striking up before. And the reason I told you this too, the reason is because there's a little Jamie that's sitting on my shoulder going, do it, just do it. So yeah. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Good job.
That was awesome. I really like how you ended. That's cool. Like, you know what I mean? That's exactly, like, it's a great visual for that. I took some notes here. I was not going like this because it was bad. I was going
Oh my gosh.
No, I was fixing my hat, but at the same time, that's how my combos.
I didn't even see you there.
Yeah, I know I was right. Hi, Erin. That's how my combos have been going too. Just like you said, just like you did, like with the new people on Facebook. I'd be like, oh, hey, I noticed that. Just exactly like you just said. And some people have become challenge packs from that. So it's pretty cool. Also, that follow-up thing is insane. I mean, just think how many people get scared after the first time they message with somebody and just stop. When really it takes 5 to 12 times.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And that was the statistic that he threw from it was like a sales something or other, like a sales group, national sales group that pulled that together to be like, you know, like how many times have we given an invitation to people to join a challenge group and there's nothing, no response. And then that immediately deters you, like, well, I don't want to do this anymore because they're not interested. They have never got back to me. Right. Well, you know, you got to follow up because even if you're in a store, like how many times have you been shopping in a store and people come up to you and say, can I help you? And you go, no.
Yeah.
But then you actually do need help.
Yeah.
You know, if they come back to follow up with you, then you're like, actually, I do need help. Please help me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So what do you guys have? You guys have any questions for Kristine?
Yeah, questions.
I'd like to, even though I was horrible at the role play, because I don't do good on the spot, but I'm a natural, I'm a contradiction because I'm such a gabber. I'm the person that talks to the people at the, you know, I'll make the salesperson like happy. And I did give my business card to her, but I mean, I've only given my business card twice. But anyway, I'm very social like that. I make eye contact, I do that, but I will just like, when I first became a first aid CPR instructor, I was just terrified. I can't stand class, that kind of being focused, but I'm really good with one-on-one when it's natural, when it's natural. So I guess I need to get out of my own head and say, okay.
Yes.
My friend bubble be my okay with me, so.
I think the more that you do something like that, the easier and more natural it becomes.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's one thing to be like, okay, well, I'm having a role play conversation with somebody that I know, like in our team. But when you're actually out in the real world and you're like, you're in a situation where you're on the train or somewhere next, like you're at a party or whatever, and there's somebody over there that you've never met, then why not talk to them? And talk to them about how's the party going. And then as the conversation goes, throw in some lifestyle tidbits here and there. And then next thing you know, you're like, oh yeah, I'm part of Beachbody. And, you know, a lot of people, I hate to say it, especially up here, a lot of people either have heard of Beachbody, but they don't have a coach, never heard of Beachbody before, or want to know what it's all about. So, you know, I'm not too sure how it is down there because I think it's probably a little bit more people are coaching more down there, but up here it's still pretty new.
It's surprising how many people don't actually know about it. I thought that everybody knew, but then the more I talk to people, they don't.
Yeah.
But that's definitely something that you just get better at by making yourself do it. Like now it's like I can't have a conversation that doesn't lead to that, you know, not on purpose, just because it just comes very natural now, but it didn't at first. But the more I just talked about it, the easier it became, and now it just comes out.
He used a really good analogy of, so he's, like I said, he's a really good storyteller. And I would definitely recommend if he's in the area, definitely go to it because it's pretty good. But he used the analogy of him and his wife had to go buy a fridge and their fridge cracked out. So they went to an appliance store and he had this rule. Basically, whenever the sales guy would come over, he would leave his wife to have the sales guy there and chat her ear off. And then he would come back and say, did you make a decision? And she would say yes or no. So they get into the store, salesman comes over and they're like, can I help you? Yes, I'd like to buy a fridge. Okay. well, we have this model and this model and this model and this model and this model. And that's when he starts to walk away. So the second rule was they never buy in the first location. So they all get together, or him and his wife leave, and they go to Sears. And they walk into Sears, and same things. They walk in, sales guy says, "Can I help you?" "Yeah, we're here to buy a fridge." And as Kim is starting to walk away, the salesman goes, "Well, first let me ask you, do you have kids?" And he says, "Yeah." "Okay, well, okay. And are they able to pour their own drinks and get from there?" "Yeah." "Okay." And as the sales guy is asking questions, Kim comes back and he's like, "This guy's pretty, no, he knows the stuff, and I wanna know more." And he goes, "Where do you think we bought the appliance from?" "We bought it from Sears," because it was what him and his wife wanted, not what the sales guy was trying to sell him on to make money. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then his story that he ended off with was about the Letterman's jacket. He also had a really good story about a painter, and this one kind of clicked too. And I didn't know how to put in the presentation, but he had a painter come over to his house, and their banister needed to be painted. And he said, every time this guy painted something, it was like perfection. It was always, there was no bubbles, no nothing in the paint job. So finally this guy's done, and he says, Kim says to him, goes, how do you get your paint job so perfect? And the guy goes, "Well, I sand it down." It goes, "And then I apply a thin layer of paint and then let it dry. And then I sand it down again and apply a thin layer of paint." He goes, "You apply a paint like after you've done the layer?" And he's like, "Yeah." And you keep doing that over and over time, paint, scrape and paint until it becomes perfect. He goes, "That's the analogy when it comes to inviting. You just got to keep at it. Every invite that you've ever done, you're going to perfect it. You're going to sand it, and then you're going to throw a thin layer of paint, and then you're going to sand all the bugs out of it and have a thin layer of paint until it becomes perfection." It's like Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the story he ended off with was his Letterman's jacket. So he was trying out for his ball team, and him and his dad were like, he was, I don't think, 14 years old, and he moved to a new area, and the school that he played at, he wasn't allowed to play there, so he had to play across the tracks, and it was like a varsity team or whatever. So he practiced all summer, and he goes to the tryouts, and he made first cut, he made the second cut, but he didn't make the final team. So he said something like, he goes, "Because I didn't make the final team, I spent all winter and all fall at the batting cages, just practicing. And then when the trials came again next year," he said, "I did the same thing. I got made first cut, made second cut. And because I practiced all summer and all winter and all fall, he made the team." And even the coach, before you made the team, the coach says, "Well, don't try and hurt yourself because you made the team. Like, don't worry, you made it."
Mm-hmm.
But he goes, "But the biggest thing was his Letterman's jacket." And then he pulled out his actual Letterman's jacket from when he was like 14 years old, and it fit him. And we're all like, "Oh my God, that's such a good story."
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, he's a really good presenter, and he's on Facebook, and I'm sure if you friend him, he'll friend you back. But he's really awesome.
Yeah. Kim Carver, CIM. It's a guy.
Yeah.
CIM Carver.
He's like, "It's not Sim, it's Kim."
Yeah. What do they call him? Sim Shady or something. Yeah, Sim Shady. No, he's awesome. Definitely next time he's around, or if he's ever, if you're ever able to get on a call with him, just check that out, because such a good guy.
Is there any other questions, comments from the group? Because, nothing? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm off the hook for another 6 months. Yes.
I don't know about that. But that was awesome. Thank you so much for doing that. And, I think like you said, we just have to keep sanding it, all of you guys, everybody on this call, like you've been sanding, like, since, I don't know, within the past couple months, especially, I noticed, you're sanding, you're doing, and I was talking to Erin earlier, I'm like, you're being so consistent with your posts. You know what I mean? You're really, and you keep doing it, and they keep getting better every time. And I could tell more and more people are getting interested. And that's because, you know, every time you get a little more confidence, you get a little more expertise. Maybe you get better at the snap seed, or you get better at like, I noticed a lot of you after the call about the kind of the formula to write a post have been doing that with emojis and the opening line. And I think it's great. Have you noticed a difference in people responding to you like that? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I've noticed you all kind of put that into action, and I thought it was awesome. So just, you know, keep doing that formula, and just every time maybe try to get a little deeper, a little more, you know, a little scarier, you know, go in there, be a little more open with people, and just keep doing what you guys are doing, and the vital behaviors, and, you know, coming to the calls. And that's the way, you know, it's a well.
And I will say the vital behaviors are vital, and that's why they're vital behaviors, because if you don't do them, then we're not going to be good coaches. And it's not just something where it's like, well, they're guidelines, you know, if I just do this one thing, then I'll be a good one. No, it's, you know, it's everything all combined together that makes us good coaches. So definitely they are there for a reason.
You know, and so here's a little thing, guys. I went to a coffee today with this guy. I used to be a general manager of a restaurant at the airport, and it was a very intense position just because you work about 80 hours per week. You get up at, you open at 4 a.m. and you don't close until a half hour before the last flight. So if it's delayed, that could be 4 a.m. again. And so it's a lot of work, and it's in the airport. It's very hard to find people to work for you because they have to pass certain inspections. You can't be an illegal immigrant or anything like that, which a lot of times they're very good workers and don't miss, you know. So I was talking to this guy today, and he was just talking about how, you know, people, they want to make money, they want to do whatever, but then they'll show up, they'll say, yeah, I can work whenever, I can do whatever. And then they show up and they say, oh, actually, I need weekends off. Actually, I can't work next Tuesday, it's my friend's birthday, and on and on and on and on. And it's like, you know, what, okay, so I kind of related, I talked to him, I'm like, you know, it's the same thing. People will come to me and say, hey, I want to replace my full-time job with this. But then they never come to team calls. They don't do their personal development. They maybe work out twice a week. They never post about it. They never invite. And I'm like, what you're saying you want and the actions that you're taking to get there don't pair up. And so you really got to evaluate yourself, which, you know what I mean, to say, am I doing what I need to do to get to my goal? And if you are, keep doing it.
Yeah. But definitely listen to that. So the guy that was on Lewis House, he was also on recently, and he was listening to that about being full of ambition, being full of abundance and prosperity. And it's, when we say abundance, it's not just like being, you know, like abundance of wealth and abundance of whatever. It's living an abundant life of being grateful for what we have. He's like, look at your legs. Are you grateful you have legs? There's people out there who don't have legs. Aren't you grateful that you have eyes? Because there's people out there who are blind and don't have eyes. So like, when you talk about that and you take that in perspective, you're like, oh yeah, right?
It's true. You know, when I go through my hard periods, like, you know, depression periods, that's the first thing I do in the morning before I go to bed. 10 things that I'm grateful for. And for a while it was, I'm grateful that I have legs because of the whole Boston Marathon thing and everything. So yeah, there's always something to be grateful for.
Yeah. And it was they talked about the 10 principles of having an abundant and prosperous life. And it was talking about, you know, visualization and clearing. Clearing was a big one. So if people have issues or people have, you know, stuff that's holding them up, and I'm sure this is for a whole other call, but if people have, you know, like my girlfriend, she's going through divorce. My friend has issues from the past that she just keeps hanging on to. And it's like, you have to literally clear those things out of your mind. It's not just as simple as like, poof, they're gone. It's more of a conversation you have to have with either the person you're clearing or yourself or whatever, to say, this no longer affects my life anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And literally you can say it out loud to the universe or to
Yeah. He says, I challenge you. He said on the call or on the thing, he says, like, I challenge you every morning just to wake up and say thank you. That's it. Just say thank you.
I think that should be our call to action for the rest of this week. Every morning, wake up and think about, the first thing you do is think about 10 things that you're grateful for. I also do it last thing before bed if you want to add that.
I would say take it even a step further is like in our team call, by the end of the week, we should all write down and take a picture of it, not just type it down, but write it down and take a picture of it and take a picture of it, post it somewhere that you see every day, the 10 things you're grateful for.
Yes.
So like if I'm at my desk at work, I will have a picture of the 10 things I'm grateful for, and I will take a picture of it behind my computer monitor because that's where I like every day.
Great idea. Who's in? Cool.
Allison, you're not in? I didn't see a hand.
Oh, Allison's in. I'm grateful for Allison. All right. So I think I was going to tell you guys something else now. I just forgot. Oh, I want to take a photo of us. So I'll let you guys prepare because I'm going to hate when I do this.
I'm going to do a hood.
I'll try to make it cool.
Oh,
Do Jamie hoods.
I know. I wish you guys. Well, if you guys all make Success Club, you get a hoodie. Woo! We're going to be the badass team. Okay.
Well, come here for a second.
Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Ready. Born ready.
Born ready. All right. 1, 2. Oh, let's get your daughter in there.
Oh, hang on. She does the Jamie peace sign. She does this.
Oh, yeah, girl. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. All right. You guys want to do the peace signs? Everybody? 1, 2. All right. Hopefully I got you in there.
She's literally in the back of we're driving camping yesterday on the weekend, and she's in the back of the truck, and Caleb's like dancing like this, and she's like,
I love it.
My little Jamie Messina.
Awesome. All right. And if any of you want to join the competition that